Hello, as you are probably aware, I have not filmed very much, but I am home now. This red mark is because as soon as my parents saw me, my mum handed me a mask, and I've had to wear it since. And now I've got 2 weeks of isolation, which is gonna be fun. And then I'm here for the time being. I will probably be documenting my isolation, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, but probably in a separate video. And I will probably talk more about the journey again either later or in a separate video, but now I'm gonna go to bed because it's I think 2:30 in the morning Australian time and I want to get over my jet lag. Bye! Hello, first of all, this is giving me huge flashbacks to, when I left, and it feels very, very odd. But more importantly, when I left the UK, it was in such a rush that I just emptied my cupboards, sorted what I was leaving and what I was taking, and just packed it into my suitcase in no order. Usually it's very neat and I've got my skirts in one area and my trousers in another and my tops in another and my jumpers in another. This is just all over the place. So I'm now going through the effort of separating it all, but I have no cupboards to put it in because I'm only in this room temporarily until my quarantine is done, and then we're gonna figure out if I'm gonna move into my own room or what's gonna happen. So I think I'm just gonna leave it on the floor for now, which is not ideal, but at least I'll be able to see my own clothes. I also at some point have to look at the clothes I left here and see what I want. Anyway, see you later. Well, that's one case unpacked. So apparently my drink bottle was too full for that, and now I've got everything wet. Let's see if this works. I have an idea. That's exhausting. Hello, I've decided to very quickly do a little chat. I'm gonna tack it on at the end of this video. Obviously I'm doing more today than just dancing and spilling water all over myself, but I'll put that in a separate video then because I have 2 weeks of quarantine and I'm only on day 3. But I wanted to have a little chat about my flight. So as you would have seen earlier, this was all very, very fast and unexpected. And my parents triple checked with me if I was okay with flying the next day, not even the next day, 12 hours later. And my mum said to me after when I arrived, she said, I would not have done that, but here we are. The cheapest flight was via America, but my mum really didn't want me to go via America. She didn't want me to go via any Asian countries nor via America just because of coronavirus. And she didn't want me to have a long layover either. So we were quite restricted with our flight, but this was the cheapest one that fit all the criteria. I have never flown Emirates before. I know that they're meant to be one of the best airlines, and I think my mum's flown with them once or twice, but especially with all this coronavirus thing, I just wanted to get home before they closed borders. I was speaking to a friend and I was very lucky because she told me that her roommate's parents live in Dubai. So she gave me their number, which I didn't end up using, but it was very comforting to know if I was stuck in Dubai, I would have a contact. Emirates was fantastic. When I checked in, there was a huge line and you could see that the staff were very overworked and stressed out. But they were nice enough to me, but it meant I wasn't going to check if my vegetarian meal that I had went through and all that. Fun fact, on my first flight, I was put in an aisle seat. I really don't like aisle seats, but what can you do? And I didn't get my vegetarian, which was a bit of a shame, and the flight attendant wasn't so nice about it either. But again, she was probably stressed herself, and I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. One of the things that was really amazing was that the ceiling was with stars, but it was cool. I really liked that. But what I didn't like, and this often happens because my theory is to immediately change over to the time you're going to, but it meant I got on the plane and immediately wanted to fall asleep, but the lights were on and the windows were open and everything just not good. But to be fair, I think Dubai is something like 7 hours behind Australia anyway, so I can ask for anything. But otherwise it was all fine, it was smooth. On that flight I did get a window seat and I did get my vegetarian. But again, my theory is the country you're going to is the way the plane settings should be, which meant it was daytime that entire flight. However, not only was I specifically asked to close my blind, not by the people next to me, but by the flight attendant. They also switched off all the lights, had the ceiling all starry, and I was trying to stay awake. I did end up sleeping for I think 2 to 3 hours just because I was so exhausted and the settings of the plane didn't help. Aside from that, everything was really, really great. And it does feel really weird to be back, and I'm still not entirely sure if I'm happy about it. I don't think I am, to be honest. It's lovely to be with my family, but I do wish I could go back to England. Anyway, if I have more to say, I will talk about it in a separate video. This is it for now, and I'll see you guys soon, I'm sure. Bye!